And now the national anthem as sung by Vanessa Ford.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Order. March.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you all for coming out today on this very, very special day. This is actually something that's pretty unique. We're honored here with Brian Miller. He's the state chapter president from Honor and Remember, and now Honor and Sacrifice. And we're here to gather to pay tribute, honor, and respect towards our fallen first responders, police, and fire by a flag-raising ceremony. We are honored to be the first in the state to have this privilege to raise the Honor and Sacrifice flag. A lot of planning went into this, and I'd like to thank everybody who was a part of this to make this a possibility, and thank you to the Gwyndon family for joining us here today to pay tribute to your fallen and the family. My name is Chris Lazar. I'm the Director of Veteran Services here in West Springfield, and again, thank you to all for coming out. I'd like to introduce Mayor Reichout, who is strong advocate for making sure that our law enforcement are safe, sound, and on a daily basis, and Mayor Reichout.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming out this morning. I think it's an important weekend to recognize our fallen public safety officers, especially as we recognize our fallen veterans this weekend. I want to thank you all for being here, especially our police and fire. I want to thank our town councilors, Bridget Fiala, Brian Griffin, Brian Clune, Dan O'Brien, and Bruce Gendron, who all joined us today, and also former councilor Rita Powell. I really appreciate you all being here, bringing our community together. And you know, it's been over a year and a half now since Ashley Gwyndon was taken from us, and we had the ceremony here. So I think it's important that we're able to do this. I want to thank Brian Miller for allowing us. You know, last Veterans Day, we were able to raise the Honor and Remember flag to recognize the veterans that have been taken from us, and now we're able to raise the Honor and Sacrifice flag to recognize the public safety officers that are taken from us. We are working to add more public safety officers here, especially more police this year. I understand the sacrifice that they make in putting on the uniform every day, especially at this time, especially with what's going on in our country and across the world. So I want to thank them for keeping us safe this weekend while we're all at our parties and enjoying our time off. They're still working. They're still making sure we have a safe community. Our soldiers around the world are making sure we have a safe country. So thank you all, and thank you for doing what you do for us.
And as the mayor said, you know, this weekend, you know, they don't have the time off. They're here in uniform, and they're going to go back to work. And and make sure that we're all safe. While as a veteran, and Brian can attest, as we serve overseas, the first thing we think of is we want to make sure that our families are taken care of, and there's no one better than our local police and fire, first responders, and all throughout the state. And we want to make sure that when we come home, our families are taken care of and safe. And so, could I just get a round of applause for all of our first responders? Thank you for everything that you did. I'd like to call up Chief Ron Camperciani. He's the West Springfield Police Chief, for a few words.
Thanks, Chris. I just want to echo the sentiments that the mayor has already spoken about. We're very honored here in West Springfield to have the opportunity to be the recipient of this flag, especially being the first ones in the state. And we're like everybody else. We have families, we have children, we have mothers and fathers, and we worry about the same things everybody else does. But on top of that, we have to worry about everything else that's going to go on that day. When you wake up in the morning getting ready for work, you turn on the news like we do, you see the day's events, you see the things that are going on, and you wonder in your mind, geez, I wonder what's going to happen today. And then you go to work and you come home and you turn on the news and you try to catch up and see if anything did happen. We see those same things, except when these officers are getting dressed up every morning, they have to wonder if they're going to be part of the news that day. And they have to wonder if they're going to go home. And that's the biggest thing that we try to keep in our heads. And it's a burden that a lot of people don't have to carry, and we're happy to carry that for the people in this town. But we go to work every day wondering, like I said, if we're going to get home to our families that night. So it's to have something like this honor us. We don't ask for these things. These men and women go about and do their job every day. An automatic pilot, so to speak, and we don't want accolades, we don't want stuff like this. It's nice when it happens, and it gives us, and I will always take an opportunity to be the champion for them in events like this, so that you understand what we go through and what the mindset is every day for these officers that come in. I want to thank the mayor, who has put additional personnel on our budget for next year, and hopefully things will start to calm down. As you've seen, West Springfield especially has been very active lately. There's been a number of things that are going to go on. And like I said, we're not on an island here, so as these events happen across the country, we're also hitting home and they're coming here. And I think, unfortunately, tragedy sometimes brings people together and helps them understand. And I think, because I've talked to a number of you and the people that are here, I've talked to a number of you over the course of the last 2 months, and so you can't believe what's been going on lately in West Springfield, but again, it just gives you a sense of what these officers do every day. So on their behalf and for them and their families, thank you.
And now I'd like to call Brian Miller forward. Again, he's the Honor and Sacrifice Commander, State President for this great organization that's raising awareness across the country. And I'd like to call him forward as we begin to present the flags to the Gwynden family.
Good morning, everyone. First off, I'd like to thank Chris Lizotte and the Mayor of West Springfield for allowing us to be here today. Also, I'd like to thank the Young Marines and the PGR that are all standing around us holding these American flags. A couple other people I'd like to recognize before I get into what the flags are and we present the flags. A young lady standing off to my left, Sue Redfern, Gold Star Mother. Two ladies behind me that will be presenting an Honor and Sacrifice flag, or the Honor and Remember flag, to the Gwynden family. They are also Gold Star Mothers, Tracy Taylor and Paula Buford. I'd like to thank them and just have their family in your thoughts and memories this weekend with prayers. The Honor and Remember flag was started back in 2008. Shortly you will see the flags opened up for the ones that we're going to present to the Gwynden family, and you also see behind me an Honor and Remember and an Honor and Sacrifice flag raised on the flagpoles. The Honor and Remember flag has several meanings to it. The red border on the top of the flag denotes the bloodshed that is shed on the battlefield by the soldiers. The white signifies the purity. In the center of the flag, you see a blue star, and that star signifies and represents for all soldiers serving throughout the United States and across this country on active duty, whether in a form of war or serving in another country abroad just for regular active duty or reserve service. The center of the flag has a gold star to signify for the Gold Star families. The veterans gave sacrifice, but it's the families that gave the ultimate sacrifice. Inside of the gold star is the eternal flame, and below the eternal flame is the American flag folded with the stars showing in the form that the flag is presented to a family at the graveside with the flag taken off of the coffin. The honor and sacrifice flag was first unveiled this past year on 9/11/2016. George Lutch, the founder of Honor and Remember, had been asked for several years since 2008 if there was any type of national or local recognition that Honor and Remember does or can do for fallen police, fire, and first responders. So George set out for 2 years and designed a special flag for our first responders, that family that loses a first responder in the line of duty. On the honor and sacrifice flag, the blue field signifies the national of the law enforcement community. The purple field represents, respectfully signifies mourning for a loss in the firefighter community. The white field recognizes the purity of heart within each individual who serves and protects and is willing to face each day's challenge regardless of risk. The black star represents those who wear the distinctive badge, including sheriff and marshal services. The red Maltese cross recognizes all individuals in emergency response communities. The gold shield recognizes public safety representatives who wear the shield and have made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. Gold reflects the value of life given. The folded flag signifies the final tribute to an individual life that a family has lost for the sake of others. The flame is an eternal reminder of the spirit that has departed this life, yet burns in the memory of all who knew and loved the fallen hero. We honor their selfless service and remember their individual sacrifice. At this time, I have to my left the Gwindon family, and to my right I have a couple of police officers from the West Springfield Police Department, along with 2 Gold Star mothers that also are board members of Honor and Remember. At this time, I'm going to ask those individuals if they can please start opening and unveiling the flags, and I'm going to read a certificate that goes along with the Honor and Remember flag that will also be presented to the Gwindon family along with these 2 flags. This Honor and Remember flag is presented with eternal gratitude and respect in memory of Tech Sergeant David G. Gwindon. With this flag, we honor this patriot's unwavering dedication and remember their selfless sacrifice by displaying this symbol. Collectively, as a nation, we humbly recognize the enormity of your loss and respectfully say thank you. George A. Lutz, founder, and also thank you from the Massachusetts chapter of Honor and Remember and Honor and Sacrifice. And at this time, I'm going to ask Tracy and Paula if they could first please approach the Gwindon family with the Honor and Remember flag to present to the Gwindon family. And now I'm going to ask the 2 police officers from the West Springfield Police Department if they could approach the Gwindon family and present the honor and sacrifice to the Gwindon family. I'd again like to thank the mayor and Chris Lazat and the city of West Springfield for allowing us here today to do this presentation. Thank you, everyone.
And now, as you can see, the Westover Young Marines have raised the flags to half staff, and they'll remain up through Memorial Day and for several weeks after. Thank you again for Brian Miller for coming out and doing this great ceremony. And now a quick moment of silence as Stephen Ferrari from the Buglers of Across America performs taps. And now Father Tatro for the closing prayer.
Together, let us pause for a moment of silent reflection and personal prayer. O good and gracious God, you are the author of every life. You are the creator of all. In your kindness, you bless us with the gift of creation, empowering us to assist you in the ongoing work of the salvation of all people. On this Saturday of our Memorial Day weekend, we especially thank you for all police officers and firefighters, for all emergency responders and military personnel, who selflessly offer their very lives in a common vocation of not thinking only of themselves, but of putting others first, in service to the greater good of humankind. We pause to honor these women and men who regularly put their lives at risk, going into harm's way for the benefit and safety of our communities and country. We acknowledge who they are and what they do, with a spirit of holy reverence, honor, and respect. May these heroic individuals, our neighbors and our friends, be protected with your loving embrace. Safeguard their families, bless them with courage and with strength. Amen.
At this time, I'd like to dismiss the color guard, and that concludes today's ceremony. Thank you all for joining us today. We will do some photos here on the podium here, so feel free to join us after this. Again, there's some water coming up here. Please make sure you get that if you need it. Thank you again for coming out. Thank you.